Hello and welcome to Project Home DIY. My name is Christine Gloat, the owner and founder and curator of Project Home. Wow, I've said that a lot and I feel like I say the same thing every month, and I do. And it's been 65 projects in, and this is our 65th. Holy cow, can you believe it? Anyways, this is about time we take command and take over our entryways or those important parts of our home and keep up a message center or a command center and be the center of command. So we're going to definitely make that today with this all-in-one kind of message keeping station, which I'm super excited to bring to you. This is one that I've already finished and did it in a fun different green and black. This green comes in your starter kit, the olive color. So that's a pretty addition, nice pop of color for some. And I'm today going to make a white one. So I'm excited to get started. So set this to the side. In your kit, you'll find your reusable stencil, the months, the discs, and the magnets are in there, and your hanger pieces for the bottom. And you'll also find a 4-pack of command strips. That's to hang it up. Super easy, awesome way to be able to hang stuff. So let's get started. I have on the back of the boards is little like photo keeper things. I don't even know what these are called. But to begin, let's take those out and we'll move them to the side. This just makes it easier for us to be able to paint. I kind of didn't want that stuff in the way, these things in the way, and painting around everything. That's not very much fun. I did leave the grate in there because I felt like chicken wire looks really good when it's painted over to match your color. So I left it because we can dab paint on it and it'll work just fine. So we're going to start with this frame piece. And very first things first, sand. So get out your sanding block that came in your starter kit, or any sanding, if you have a hand sander, anything. But get these pieces of wood here on the edge nice and soft and smooth. So go ahead and sand. You will see all these little pieces and parts smooth out so nicely when you sand. So just make sure you give everything a good sand around edges, cuts, all that. It'll make it just the finish of the paint so much nicer. Okay, I've sanded, and I'm going to take just a towel cloth and wipe that off so the dust isn't in my paint. Okay, nice and sanded. I like to take some paper and put it down on the table before we paint. Just keeps everything that much nicer. And we can get started painting. Again, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and do white. So I just have a big bottle of white paint here I'm going to use and just get started busy painting. All right, all finished painting there. I'm going to set this to the side. I usually set things in a small space heater. Oh, I forgot to paint the grill or the chicken wire, but this is how you paint it. Just dab down on that. And this is actually how you'll paint the round discs and the words, which is the next step that we'll do. So painted that chicken wire. My brush was ready to go. So I'm going to take this over to our heater and let it dry. All right, while that's in the heater, I'm going to paint the months and the little round numbers. And then we get to stencil, which takes a little while, but we can do it. We're not in a hurry. We got time. if by any chance, these are really fragile. When I was doing my initial one, my February, I think the F came off. I just took a tiny bit of hot glue and glued that back on. Super easy fix. So just, if there's any of them that accidentally got bent, and over time and even through painting, you could potentially snap one. Super easy fix, just to take them and hot glue that letter back together or on. Much easier fix than getting a new letter or anything like that. So yeah, good easy fix. But I'm just going to stick with the same ivory that I'm going with, and I load my brush and then paint on a couple of them, and then I backtrack. So I've seen some people where they like to stick this to like a transfer tape so the words stay down. I just get going and eventually it'll stick to the paper itself. That's a transfer tape works great, or tape itself. Like you can take a piece of tape and do that, but I just get going and it sticks. My method, just make sure that in order for them to dry, you remove them out of the puddle of paint. So like this June word is right down in here. Just move it out of that puddle of paint, or else you'll it'll stick there and dry. So I would just move it up here. You can take your paintbrush and lightly wipe across it, and that will give you the brushed finish. So that's how we paint the months. So go ahead and paint those, and then we'll move on to the rounds. All right, the months are finished. I'm just going to do the rounds, and it's the exact same way. So just set them out. You can paint them different colors if you decide to do for different things. You did notice on the stencil that it does have different holidays. So you could do those ones colored that represent the holidays, just something fun, or however you choose. So same way, just dab your paint. Again, these will stick in place. If you want, you can take the end of a paintbrush, hold it, you like that better. So just paint them, get those all painted. After they're done, I do like to take just a brush and just smooth it out just a tiny bit. So it's not dabbed down, it's more brushed. So go ahead and paint all of the wood rounds. You may also use spray paint, but if you do use spray paint, obviously there's an air force behind the spray. You'll have to compensate for that, and probably use like a transfer tape or some sort of something to keep them stuck down, or else they'll just blow away. So keep that in mind if you use spray paint, but super handy, fast, quick, easy way to cover them. Also, the months can also be done that way. So dab paint all your discs and let those dry, and we'll get to stenciling right after that. All right, back to start stenciling. So this part can be a little tricky, especially because we have like 45 pieces to stencil. It does take a bit of time. Again, just take your time on that. Don't panic, but it is a little bit time consuming. So to start off, I'm going to start with the calendar part, and that needs the days of the week stenciled onto it. So cut those off the top, and they go inside the first box. You can like tilt them to the side. You can do whatever you want with those. And also, if you want Sunday first, switch your days of the week. So Sunday is first, which in my case, I do like Sunday first. So I'm just going to put those right above the line. You can see through the stencil. So cut the stencil to fit, peel it from the removable backing, and then place it down and smooth it down on the surface so it's nice and smooth and in place. So you can see the line for the calendar right in there underneath. So I'm just putting the words a little bit above that. I believe I spaced them out correctly to be able to do it this way. So let's see. Yes, I did. I thought when I made this stencil, I made it to where it would. Saturday is a little far off, so I'm going to peel it up, cut it, and then I'll move it down. So that's the cool thing. You can be very free with these stencils. You don't have to conform to exactly how they are. Cut it to make it fit your project. So, okay, it's all set in place. It looks like everything's pretty centered. Saturday is now too far left, so let me peel it up. Try not to peel things up too much, but you are able to move them. Okay, that's better. So then I'm just going to take a small paintbrush and make sure it doesn't have paint in it from my children. Here I go. The kids have always done something, so I'm just using white paint. When you do something on a black dark surface, you're going to want to use a high contrasting paint. So make sure it is a high contrast paint, like black on or white on black. So you just paint over it. You do see this is a nice smooth surface. You're not going to get any smoother of a surface than this chalkboard. So no problems for leaking. There shouldn't be any issues. The only time that these mesh stencils have any issue with leaking is truly when the surface that you're painting on isn't smooth. So like our wood discs, extremely important that our next step is we sand those. So I'm going to start peeling that up right away. I'm looking for tweezers or an X-Acto knife, something I can get underneath that real easily. There we go. And don't stop and just peel. Uh-oh. Mine went down. That might gunk up my letters a little bit. Nope. Perfect. Okay, so I'm throwing this away. I don't plan on using it again, but these are totally reusable. If you did gunk it up, you obviously can wipe this clean and wash this in soap, or excuse me, just in water, and let it dry face down so the sticky side is up. The sticky side will renew itself. They get kind of rubbery when they get wet. It's funky. Let it completely dry and you can stick it back down and repaint. But there is that part. So that's all finished. I'm going to set that to the side so it can dry because I don't want to mess that up. So I did say that one very important part about stenciling is you have a smooth surface. So get your sanding block back out. And every single one of these 45 discs, we get to touch them 45 more times, doing 45 more, another step. So take it face down and sand it, just like that. And then you need to wipe it. I always wipe everything on my apron, but you don't want brush strokes, or if there's a thicker paint that you use, if it left brush strokes, you don't want that. That is what will make stencils leak. That's like the Grand Canyon underneath a sticky stencil. You don't want that. That'll make paint leak. So just sand them down and wipe the dust off. Okay, that's good. You can take a rag and wipe them, but you got to have the dust off. Okay, then you're going to cut your stencil up. You can follow the lines. They don't have to be exact. Use a paper cutter if you want to do less. They do not have to be exact. After doing this myself, I realized I should have done circles. So you could easily just line them up and put them right over the circle, but I did get pretty close. These are 1 inch circles. These are about 1 inch squares. So we got a pretty good method going on here. So I'm going to take the same green from our starter kit, and oh, why don't I have any paint trays? See, I'm always searching for my supplies of everything because my son, my 8-year-old, not, oh crap, I said 8-year-old, he's 10. He's always out here every day after school, and he's always making something every day, believe it or not. I don't know where he gets it from, but he's always out here, and I'm always looking for my stuff. So I think my paint trays go with him. So I'm going to use just paper, put a blob of paint down. There we go. And take the round. You can take the backing off again. And I figured out you can do it from the front, place it from the front, and just kind of watch the shadow of the round behind to make sure you're pretty centered. And same distance between top and bottom. You can do it that way. And then take your paint over it. And make sure to peel that off right away before it dries. And you get to do that 45 more times. You'll get really good at it, I promise. Okay, so I'm going to take the two. I'm going to show you a different way. You can take it, set it face down, take your painted side, place it in the center of the square, and push it down if that's easier. And then you're pretty centered in the whole little circle if you follow the square. There's a little bit of room on each side, but just make sure that all the room is equal on all 4 sides of the stencil. Peel it off, and there's number 2. So that's how you stencil the numbers, and same as the little birthdays and the dates, the fun dates that go on. So make sure you just keep stenciling and don't let the paint dry on the stencil. Center as best as you can, and it will turn out perfect. And I'm going to keep going here. All right, I'm back with the frame. It's all dry, and I'm just going to give it a little bit of a sand from being painted. Just want to smooth it down a little bit, kind of bring in some of the natural wood color from behind, make it a little bit antique-y, rustic looking. So I'm going to get to sanding, and then we can finish with the numbers, put the pieces in, put the magnets on, and attach our hardware. And we are finished. Okay. If you want, you can put in we'll put on the hardware now. This is a little bit difficult. I'm not gonna lie about that. You'll need a screwdriver, a small screwdriver, and possibly some help. It's hard for my hands to function and get the screws in there. So if you struggle, you might need some help with that. Use a drill if you have a drill. Use anything that can help you out doing this, but it is a little tricky. So first things first, I did find out a little bit of a trick to helping us with this, but it is 23 inches. And let me see if I remember how I have these set out. I believe they were at 4. Oh, I guess I could measure the other one. So the pieces get set at 3, 8, 14, and 20 inches. Now, to help you out with these little darn things, take your hot glue gun and put some glue on the back side of that little dude and glue it at the 3 and straight. This will help keep it in place while you're screwing it in, which is the hardest part. It won't hold it, obviously, but it will hold it in place for the time being. So 3, 8. Okay, here's the hard part. This isn't fun, but we're gonna do this. Okay, found the missing screwdriver. All right, this is where you have to have some patience. These screws are little and they're hard to get in, but the best thing is if you can just get it stuck in and push, it'll create a pocket that will start that screw. But the hot glue is fabulous for holding it in place. You don't have to worry too much after you get that going. So the hard part is just getting that screw started. It's not very fun, and pushing a good amount of down force. So just push it in. You want to like make a dent in the wood with the tip of that screw, and then with a good force down, just start going. And it's okay. My husband wouldn't say it's okay, but it's okay if the screws are crooked in there. They'll straighten out once you get to the end. So finish screwing those in at 3, 8, I think I said 4 before, 3, 8, 14, and 20. So we'll get those screwed in and we'll do just fine. I might pause though from doing that. Mine will fall off. I'll just keep going. See? They kind of pop out. It's hard. But there's some hot glue kind of poking out of the holes, and that kind of helps hold your screw in, to be honest. I'm having much better luck than I was the first time. Okay, got all the screws in. I'm going to place the calendar part, the magnetic calendar, and the cork board back in on the back. Cool thing about the back is obviously there's a lot of extra pieces because all the months and the year or the months and the extra calendar pieces. But something fun you could do is take magnetic tape. I think you can get it at the dollar store, like a super cheap roll of magnet tape, and tape some pieces along here, and you can, these will be magnetized. We'll put magnets on them, and then you can put those on the back of the board, which is really cool. So this board is dry from putting the days of the week on it. Just turn those little photo things in, and voila, all finished with the board. Beautiful, perfect, love it. Okay, next step is to take your little magnets, and I had tweezers. If you have a pair of tweezers, it works really well to get the 3M stickers off, or the backing. And then you can take your numbers and put magnets on them, and then place them, I think I don't remember when May 1st was, but, and place them on there, and then do the same with your days or months, just place a magnet right on the middle, on the back, and then you can, oops, put your word right on there. So just finish with the magnets. That's it for that. So cute. I love it. Oh, I was planning on painting this strip a different color. If you choose to do that, just take some painter's tape and tape off the sides so you keep them nice and clean edge, and just tape it off and paint that a different accent color. Makes it super cute. Disclaimer with the command strips, when you put those on, make sure your back of your wood is clean. And I suggest taking some clear packing tape and sticking that down, scratching that surface of that clear packing tape that really adheres it to the wood, and then putting your command strip on that packing tape, because it's a flat, sticky stuff sticks to a smooth surface better than this porous wood, so it'll stick much better to that tape. The tape won't peel off from the wood because you did scratch it down. It'll be a much bigger piece in the command strip, but peeling it off will be just, it'll just work better for the command strips. So do that, and then you can stick your level, just take a short level, or you can measure on your wall and you just stick it up with the command strips and it is up. Be very careful when bringing it down. If you pull like directly away from the wall, you could pull off like the sheetrock layer, which you don't want to do that. So when you get to pulling it down, just kind of stick your hands behind there and separate that Velcro out. If that doesn't work for you, you might have to use some different kind of hangers, like a D-ring hanger, photo hanger, if you'd rather use nails on your wall or whatever works. But just keep in mind you might have to switch out what type of device you use to hold or hang this. The command strips will hold the weight of this calendar plus the extra magnetic stripping, which let me show you that. Here's what I did on the other one. So I just took 3 strips, and then you can take and put all these right on there and store them right there. Pretty cool. Way cool way to store it, just simple, and keeps it out of the way right behind there. And it won't interfere with the command strips. They still stick just fine. So it is just a good way to store them. But you can see on here how I do have the tape. There's tape there first, and then this command strip is on there, and it'll just hold much better. So depending on where you hang it and what you do with yours, a different type of method might work better for your situation. Just assess your situation and where you're going to hang it, what you're going to hang it on, and that kind of stuff, and make the best choice. So that is our project this month. So thank you for joining us. Where did number 4 go? Lost it. Oh well. All right, so thanks for joining us for this month. I hope you enjoy this command center of command. It makes sense in our lives to be organized, and we'll keep in touch and see within the VIP group. Make sure that you join us in that. Add your pictures of your final projects, because everybody does love the inspiration we get from all of the projects that we see. So we'll see you in there, and have a good month. Let's stay creative.